Welcome back. Today we're going to have a little chat about the new Kill Team starter set because it contains 3 very interesting things. One of which is genuinely surprising and could be excellent news provided Games Workshop uses it to make the entry point for Kill Team that little bit lower. Will they actually do that? It remains to be seen. Before we get into it, however, this video is brought to you by WarMag. WarMag is a magnetic storage and transportation system for your miniatures, and they have a new website making it easier than ever to grab the perfect combo for transporting your miniatures. So, you've got a bunch of lads, you want to take them from one place to another. What's the best way to do it? This is the best way to do it. And I only say that because this is what I use for literally every time I need to go anywhere with miniatures. This is the new site and it makes it easier than ever to grab yourself a really useful box, a really nice base sheet, and the magnets that you need to transport your models. And I will demonstrate that now. Let's take a look at some boxes and some base sheets, shall we? So, I want some boxes to start with. Let's say we're doing Underworlds, 2 Underworlds warbands, or maybe a Kill Team, so we need a 4-litre box. Now, what colour do we want? What colour do we fancy? I mean, it's me, so it's either going to be pink or purple, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be purple. It's always purple or pink. Now that we can see the box, we just need to choose which base sheet we want, and there's a reference guide here. There's, a moon, a gentle moon. I fancy a gentle moon. Let's go for a gentle moon. Right, gentle moon. There we go. There's the one. That does look really nice, actually. Now I want this. Now I want this one. I don't have that base sheet. I've got loads of others, but I don't have this one. I've got a purple box, though. Once you've picked what you want, just add it to your basket, and then you can grab yourself some magnets. We want the insert magnets because they stick inside the rim of the base so that you can't see them. We want circle, obviously, because we're doing a bit of Kill Team. 22 would be enough for pretty much anything that you're going to stick them on, so we'll do that, and oh, there we go. You can see how it works there. Nice. So there you go. Super easy to find the box that you want, super easy to find the base sheet that you want to put with that box, and of course the magnets speak for themselves. You can find WarMag using the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Thank you to WarMag for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to it. So, the new Kill Team starter set. What exactly is in it? Well, that's kind of easy. We've got Space Marines versus Plague Marines, and we've got, obviously, a little bit of map action going on, including terrain. The interesting part when it comes to the Space Marines and Plague Marines, however, is what specific models they are. There they are, the 2 kill teams, the new terrain, which at a distance, on a small picture like this, looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? A little bit simple, but there's a very good reason for that. The key thing about the kill teams, as they say on Warhammer Community, is the fact that they've been hard to come by in recent years, because these are from the Warhammer Heroes Blind Box series, which is already an interesting manoeuvre, because I'm pretty sure there will be a good number of people who have been searching high and low for these models and have paid quite the premium for them. Now, of course, you can sit there and go, well, why are you spending so much money on these limited edition models, and is it really that big a deal? People like to collect stuff. Collecting stuff is a big part of, well, a lot of hobbies, including this one. You can hardly argue that we don't collect stuff because, oh dear God, there's so much stuff that I've literally collected over the years. These are no different, which kind of makes the choice to make these into a Kill Team starter set kind of interesting, because part of the big draw for them initially was the fact that, well, they were hard to come by, and intentionally so. Now, not hard to come by at all. You'll just be able to buy them whenever you like, for probably considerably cheaper than if you had to hunt them all down. An interesting choice, and one that I've already seen a few people be slightly unhappy about, which I totally get. Then again, there will be those who will be happy that they can get hold of them now, so swings and roundabouts, I don't know. Either way, they are back. They're back in action, and they are the foundations of the new Kill Team. These are the kits that should get new people into the game, and to be fair, I mean, they look good, and you've got a good range of options there. You've got close combat, you've got proper long range, medium range, you've got a guy with a heavy bolter standing there for the Space Marines, which is always fun. Not that I've been playing a lot of the Heavy in Space Marine 2 or anything, but the Heavy Bolter is now my favourite weapon of all time. Sort of, kind of. I'll be honest, it feels kind of weak in Space Marine 2, and the Plasma Cannon seems way better, but I'm not an expert, it just feels that way. Anyway, also, again, Death Guard, you've got a nice mix of abilities. You've got some good melee, you've got some ranged, and you've got a Plague Caster. And the Plague Caster looks infinitely better than the one that you could get the first time round. You know, the guy with the cheeks, the guy with the big puff, the one that's going like, that guy? Not great. Not the best. Not ideal. This one's way better. Now, in theory, these are fairly old models at this point. They're not old, but they're not brand new either, and you would hope that they kind of made their manufacturing costs back and then some due to the way they were distributed, which could, in theory, mean that this Kill Team box could be starting out at a decent price point already. And then, when you get onto the fact that the terrain is not in fact plastic, but instead is easy assembly printed MDF, and this starts to look like a box that could be very, very good value. I mean, one of the reasons that a lot of these boxes seem to cost a fair bit isn't just the cost of production in and of itself, but when you pile a load of terrain into boxes, the price goes up significantly because, well, plastic is expensive. Games Workshop makes everything out of plastic. Well, I say plastic is expensive. The initial setup costs are expensive, so on and so forth. It's a whole thing. That's probably a whole other video that requires someone with more expertise talking me through it. But generally speaking, the bigger the box, the more plastic that's in it, it costs far more, and terrain is quite bulky, it's quite big, and so that was one of the big sort of complaints when it came to things like Warcry boxes and other Kill Team boxes from previous editions, the fact that you got so much terrain, but you didn't necessarily need all that terrain. This is an interesting middle ground, because it takes up way less space in the box, because it's all flat pack, and it's MDF, so it's way cheaper to produce. In theory, this is quite a good idea, because this could massively lower the barrier of entry. This could massively lower the cost. And to be fair, it's not the most exciting terrain, but it looks okay at a distance. I mean, looking at it here, is it the most exciting set of ruins I've ever seen in my life? Not really, no. But it's functional, it works, it should be cheap. They do specifically call out right here the fact that you do not need to build and paint loads of plastic walls and so on, which does cut down on setup time significantly if you just want to get started on the game. And again, that does lower the barrier of entry. It does make it easier to get into this stuff. Admittedly, assembling and painting the miniatures is obviously way more work and hassle than actually painting the scenery, or at least, I suppose, that maybe that's not fair. Maybe that's not fair. Maybe it can be. I mean, if you want to do a really good job on the scenery and you want to be really particular about every little detail, then, you know, I can see the scenery taking quite a long time. If, however, you like to do what I like to do, which is pick a colour, dry brush the hell out of it, and then go, oh, I've got scenery now, then, you know, obviously that doesn't take quite as long as painting the models. But I suppose it depends on how far into it you want to go. Another interesting thing in this article, by the way, is this right here. The fact that it's easy to build and set up and also packs down flat. It's a genuinely exciting prospect for those of us who want to quickly pop a game out of our pockets at lunchtime, a common occurrence in the Warhammer Community Office. Now, I have absolutely no doubt that they do that at the Warhammer Community Office. I would be shocked if they didn't. But if you want to give an example of an incredibly niche working environment, I cannot think of a working environment quite as niche as the Warhammer Community Office. I wouldn't say that's the overall template for everybody's working day, and I say that as someone who permanently works from home doing this nonsense basically for a job. Like, I'm fully aware of the hypocrisy here, but yeah, I do like little things like that, but it does make me think, God, it's so not easily replicated, that particular experience, is it? Here's the thing, this is actually, I think, quite a decent starter set. Admittedly, it's made up of some weird combinations in the form of MDF terrain, which we haven't really had before. I know back in the old days you used to get your old cardboard terrain. Hell, at one point you've even got a cardboard orc dreadnought. But this feels like something of a first for Games Workshop, plus the fact that both kill teams are made up of models that were intentionally incredibly difficult to get up until this point. It all feels like an interesting series of choices, but it could also lead to this being a very successful starter set for multiple reasons. Not just the fact that the people who've been wanting these models for ages will go out and buy it, which is obviously not the main thing they're looking for here, but the use of these established models, the use of MDF terrain, what looks like a paper map as opposed to a cardboard one, and minimal cardboard within the box itself, should mean that this box is super reasonably priced. Now that's where the sticking point comes in, because I feel like it should be, and I feel like it'd be very sensible if it was. If when it comes to these like starter sets for pretty much any of Games Workshop's properties, whether you're talking full-on 40k, Kill Team, Warcry, Underworld, whatever, now if they all had an approach of super affordable entry point, using stuff that you might not find in the bigger boxes and might not be part of the overall range as a whole, MDF terrain, for instance, I don't see that becoming something that Games Workshop just sells separately alongside all the plastic. I suspect they'd probably want to stick with the plastic for the most part. That could be a really good way to do things, depending on whether they actually use the opportunity of doing it this way to make it properly reasonable. Actually make it so that it's an attractive proposition to try and get into a new system instead of a super heavy investment, which is what it can sometimes feel like with some of these boxes. I mean, some of the starter sets for like Warcry and stuff, super expensive. I mean, there was also like however many Necromunda boxes, which were hugely expensive. Obviously, not necessarily aimed at your beginner, but this feels like an actual drive to make something super approachable, and hopefully they've priced it accordingly for that. Because if they haven't, it's going to feel like either a super good value product that works super well, or something that is way overpriced for no reason. So we've got a nice kind of split of this could either be really good, or it could be us making a video in the next few weeks going, why does this cost just as much as something with more plastic in it? What were they thinking? And that is going to be the interesting thing. That's going to be the thing to keep an eye out for, whether this is as reasonably priced as it feels like it should be. Your guess is as good as mine. I know a good number of you are probably thinking, well, obviously it won't be, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to be surprised. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you again to WarMag for sponsoring this video. Again, you can find the WarMag website in the description and in the pinned comment. And I will see you on Monday. Back to normal on Monday, hopefully. We're back to streams. I've been having migraines and stuff, which has made just doing this very difficult. But we're hopefully back to normal. I will see you then. Have a lovely weekend. And thank you very much for watching.